Hi, this is Kirby Summers, and I welcome you to the Epstein Project podcast. Today, we're going to discuss what happens now that Prince Andrew has been served again in the lawsuit that was filed by Virginia Giuffre accusing him of rape. A lot of people are very confused. I'm seeing all kinds of things on my timeline, so we're going to take it a step at a time. Okay, so before I get started, I want to say please like the video because I always forget to do that at the end. Like the video, please subscribe. And so I think if you guys are following me on Twitter, you will know that on Monday, yesterday, um, the legal documents, meaning the lawsuit, Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit, were, was filed and delivered to Andrew's attorney, whose name is also Andrew, not surprisingly, in Los Angeles. So his attorney's name is Andrew Bretler, and the documents were delivered via Federal Express to his law firm in Los Angeles Monday morning. That's again yesterday at 9:22 Pacific time. So he can no longer say he has not been served. People on my timeline are going nuts. I'm just so excited that it means Prince Andrew has to pretty much step forward, and he has decided to do so. And I know that he's going to try to get away from the lawsuit, but I'm going to walk you through what's going on. So, someone on my timeline said something about sovereign immunity. Sorry, Prince Andrew does not have sovereign immunity. That is granted to the Queen. It does not apply to him. Um, so no, he cannot be sort of told, oh, we're not going to have this lawsuit against you because you are Prince Andrew. That's not going to happen. What might happen is that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, no, sorry, Jeffrey Epstein in 2009 uh, did settle a lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre. Uh, Prince Andrew's attorney is going to, as they already have, on the 13th of this month during the first court hearing, where they basically claimed that, oh, well, Prince Andrew was not served. I mean, he's really such a nonce. I had very little respect for him before I knew what he was up to with Virginia and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But at this point, he's just become a laughing stock, and it's quite a pitiful state of affairs, and it casts a very negative light on the UK and the monarchy in general. So anyway, somebody else said, well, now it goes to discovery. Well, no, it doesn't go to discovery. Yeah, there's a process. So now that he has been served, he has 21 days from yesterday to respond to the court. So what his attorney will do is the attorney will now reiterate what he already said on the 13th of the month. So what he said to Judge, I believe it was Judge, I don't remember the judge's name, but it's one of the judges that's been part of some of these cases. And what the attorney said at the time was that based on a 2009 uh, settlement between Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre, claiming that as part of the terms of the agreement, she will hold harmless his friends, his business associates, and his employees, which she signed and accepted in 2009 and 2009, that alone is going to be reason, and they are asking the judge to just dismiss the case, meaning let's not proceed with the case. The case will not become a case that's going to be heard by a jury, that they're asking the judge to dismiss it on those grounds. Here are the issues regarding that. Alan Dershowitz recently used that successfully when he was negotiating with David Boies, who was representing Virginia in the case against Prince Andrew. Again, the case against Prince Andrew is a civil lawsuit. It is not a criminal matter. It is a civil lawsuit against Virginia against Prince Andrew. So in this case, Virginia, who brought the lawsuit against Prince Andrew, shares the burden of showing that her allegations are true. So the burden is on Virginia. Andrew's just trying to wiggle out using anything he can. And the idea was given to him by Alan Dershowitz, who successfully was able to get Virginia Giuffre to drop a lawsuit against him using the 2009 settlement that Virginia entered with Epstein. However, in 2015, Virginia Giuffre sued Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation. Ghislaine Maxwell was deposed. She decided to countersue. Jeffrey Epstein told her specifically, you're very stupid to enter into this with Virginia Giuffre, and he was right for once. 2 years later, what does Ghislaine Maxwell do? She has this now. There was in that case because Ghislaine decided to fight Virginia, and so there were many documents that were submitted to the court by both sides in order to fight this out in court. 2 years goes by. In 2017, Ghislaine Maxwell settles that lawsuit with Virginia. She doesn't want any more. She doesn't want to submit to any more questioning. She doesn't want to submit any more documents. She just wants out. It cost her a pretty penny because she used to have a $15 million townhouse in New York City on the Upper East Side, a couple of blocks away from Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, which she had to sell in order to settle the lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre. So that if she used the argument of the 2009 settlement that Epstein entered into with Virginia, it was not successful because Virginia was able to sue Ghislaine Maxwell, who was, Jeffrey Epstein's employee and business associate, and, just everything that he said you can't sue, well, she did, and that excuse did not work with Ghislaine Maxwell. So people are asking, is this excuse going to work with Prince Andrew? That's for a judge to decide. And what I think we have discovered, number one, we're still talking about a case that at its root, it's part of an intelligence operation. Okay, we can't lose sight of the fact that Alex Acosta said that he was told to back off, that Epstein belonged to intelligence. So I never lose sight of that, and I urge you to don't lose sight of that. Prince Andrew, as I said earlier, does not have sovereign immunity. And the lawsuit was brought only in the state of New York, although Virginia alleges that she was offered up to Prince Andrew in London after they went to the Club Tramp at Ghislaine Maxwell's house. That was the first incident. The second one, I think, happened in New York, which is the one covered for this lawsuit. And then the third time was at Epstein's Island, Orgy Island, also known as Pedophile Island, which, in court documents, Virginia alleges there were 8 other minor girls that were brought in by Jean-Luc Brunel from Eastern European countries who did not speak English and who were their favorite victims because, they couldn't talk and they couldn't argue, and they were just easier to literally rape, because when you're a trafficked victim, whether you are a minor or you're older, you are not doing this out of your own free will. It is still called rape. So let's see some of the other questions and some of the other comments that people have been asking. Um, Ultimately, again, the judge will decide whether or not to let this go to trial. In my opinion, if the judge does not say to Andrew's attorney, yeah, we're going to just drop the case because you're right, it falls under Epstein's 2009 agreement with Virginia Giuffre, we're going to drop it. If the judge does not do that and the judge decides we're going to put it on the calendar so that it goes to court, because in this case, the request is a jury hearing, a trial by jury. In my opinion, Prince Andrew will settle, because the amount that might be written in the lawsuit, that's an amount that is between attorneys, that is negotiated. So one side will say this number, the other side will say that number, but ultimately 99% of legal cases that reach this level, where now the parties are communicating, where the other party has been served, 99% of these cases are settled. So I think that the case, if it goes further than this, will be settled by Prince Andrew. If it's settled, in my opinion, and I think in everybody else's opinion, even though Virginia will not be at liberty to discuss or say the amount that it was settled for or say anything about anything, yeah, it means that we have another win. So we have a win with Virginia as it pertains to Ghislaine Maxwell uh, and her settlement. I think that anyone who is a victim of any one of these very wealthy predators, including Epstein's victims, it's if there's a win for one, there's a win for all. We're all rooting for Virginia. Um, Someone said that these high profile people get away with anything, and that's true. But this is a separate arena. The whole world is watching. It's not as if this is happening and it's not in the press on a daily basis, and millions of people aren't talking about it on a daily basis. We are talking about it. The world is watching. So I think that even if we have, let's say, I hate to say it, but a dirty judge, or something goes awry, the world is watching. Granted, Jeffrey Epstein was suicided while the world was watching. And you see how nobody ever came out. Bill Barr never came out, and even though he said we're going to get to the bottom of this, there is no bottom, right? There was no transparency, and basically they just wanted the world to forget. Well, no one forgot. We're still all here. It would be very difficult for a case like this to just sort of be allowed to disappear into thin air um, with this kind of scrutiny. I think that any sitting judge is going to get a lot of scrutiny. Anyone who's in holding office, like vice former Vice President Joe Biden, uh, who was Barack Obama's vice president, who is now the President of the United States. And let's not forget that Antony Blinken is a friend of Ghislaine Maxwell's for her entire life. She's got friends in the UK, in the judicial system, and she has friends in the United States, you know, up through the ranks. So, but still, I have a feeling that Prince Andrew is not going to, quote, get away with this. Um, he has been publicly humiliated. It's time that he gets, that there's some legal, um, a sense of balance. And so the only out for him is to settle the case. And I think that he will do that. I do not believe that he's going to be giving up information that is going to be used against Ghislaine Maxwell. Um, we have to remember that there are layers above Queen and Ghislaine, and that is the that's the Rothschild family who basically has funded the royals. And Ghislaine Maxwell had told one or more of her victims that the protectors of her family were the Rothschilds, so that the Rothschilds are looking over the Ghislaine situation and they're watching over the Prince Andrew situation. And the best thing in both cases is for the Prince Andrew situation to simply disappear because they do not want anything more to land on Ghislaine Maxwell. So anyway, that is what I have to say today. I'm trying to keep it short. Um, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I just said, so please leave them below in the comments section. Okay, have a good day. Talk soon. Bye.